out of all the unexpected things that I got from this first episode of Criminal Minds Evolution Season 18, the most unexpected one was the fact that I'm pining so much over them. Like, they're so cute. I cannot believe I spent the entirety of Season 17 complaining about how much useless romance was in the season, and now I'm pining over them. What? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel of Delusional Theories. My name is Joe, and I review every single one of your favorite TV shows. So sorry, that's just a lie I tell in every video, for fun. Anyway, if you want to support me or support the work that I do here, you can like, comment, subscribe, share, join my membership on YouTube, join my Patreon, currently doing Your Friends and Neighbors over there, potentially starting reality TV. We shall see. Oh my god, that rhymed! I bring so much quality to this channel. Anyway, Criminal Minds Evolution Season 18 Episode 1, because they are confident enough in the show to only put out one episode. And I was hooked. I was hooked because, you know, the way it ended, it really seemed to grab us by the neck. But I'm so insane today, guys, as opposed to all the other days when I'm very sane. If you're new here, I'm never sane. Welcome. Anyway, I will start by discussing the Voit shenanigans, then I will discuss Unsub number 1's shenanigans, because we have an Unsub during this episode all the while the Voit shenanigans are happening, and then I will give you my final appraisal of the first episode of season 18 seasons of Criminal Minds. Let's go. I always want to do this gesture, but my mic is right in front of me, so I can't, okay, I did it. Let's go. So, Voit is in a coma, but not for long. He was shanked in his minimum security prison, and he was expecting it. Let's break this down. Last season, Voit was sentenced to a very short sentence in a minimum security prison because he made a deal with the DOJ, whatever the hell that means. Director of Justice, whatever. He made a deal to help the BAU catch the Unsub from season 17, and as a way of repaying for his cooperation, they gave him a short sentence because they didn't have that much evidence on him anyway. If you want to watch a breakdown of Elias Voit and his journey through, well, his life, I'm preparing a video explaining just that, so stay tuned to the channel because I'm posting in the next few days. Voit is sentenced to prison, and at the end of the last season, we saw him being attacked by two men. Two men who we now know were sentenced to that minimum security federal prison for selling weed. Two white men, mind you. Hence the minimum security and the short sentence. Let's just say that. Last season, I thought Rossi was the one who, let it be known that Voit is Voit and not Lee Duvall. I thought Rossi was the one who spread the information about Voit, and then the other inmates were like, oh, I'm gonna get some street cred. I sold some weed. Maybe I want to start selling some more hard stuff. I'm gonna get myself some street cred. That doesn't make much sense, but whatever. And turns out it wasn't Rossi. It wasn't Rossi who spread information, and it wasn't Rossi who ordered the attack. I never thought Rossi ordered the attack, but you know who did? The goddamn FBI. The goddamn FBI think that Rossi ordered the attack on Voit. And he's been under investigation for 6 months because this is how long has passed since season 17, which is actually pretty realistic because it's how long has passed since season 17. So the two dudes were not sent by Rossi, so the question is, who the hell sent them? And this is where we find the BAU at the end of the episode, who sent these two dudes to, assassinate Voit. And they start thinking, okay, who knew that Lee Duvall was Voit? And I start thinking that as well. And, well, let's check some boxes. The FBI/BAU knew, but would they? Would they? Because they could need him again. They already used him for a case. They already used his connections and his, special skills to help them in a big-ass investigation. Would they? Would the FBI? I don't think so. Then we have the Gold Star team and the people involved with the shenanigans from last season, like Frank Churches, like Frank's mercenaries. I mean, what do they care about it? I mean, if there's no money in it, why would they, pay someone to take out Voit in prison, in minimum security prison? And the Gold Star are probably recovering. Like, we have Jade and Mila left. I think they're probably recovering. And then we have Voigt's lawyer. I don't remember what happened to him, but I don't think he was arrested at all. And if you remember correctly, if you don't remember correctly, I will remember you correctly, he was helping Voit. He was doing his bidding. He was like on the phone with Voit, unearthing his kill kits to give to Jade and Damien. Like, he was basically his minion inside the prison. And then we have number 4, his goddamn network. Because it's kind of assumed or implied that they went underground after Voit was taken, that they were like in defense mode. But I don't know, in the trailer, there's this name called the Disciple. And right now I'm thinking that the Disciple is just one of the Unsubs that they will catch in one of the episodes. But what if this dude or dudette do that? That was so silly. I need to blow my nose. Give me a second. What if this dude or dudette, the Disciple, is actually a Voit disciple that is organizing all of his minions to, do these different attacks, these different, unsub missions to destabilize the BAU or whatever goal they have. However, if they are working for him, if Voit established a plan before being arrested of how they should conduct themselves, number 1, why would they only start after 6 months? Number 2, why would they hurt Voit so much that he would be in a coma? Because if the plan was to harm Voit in order for him to escape prison, why would he have a weapon to defend himself? Because that's the thing they find out in this episode. Voit had a big-ass shank. How do you call it? A big-ass shank made from a part of a fan because he was expecting the attack. So if he was expecting the attack and he was prepared to defend himself, he wasn't behind the attack. He wasn't trying to, get a little hurt in order to go to the hospital and escape. He was truly afraid of being offed, and he almost was. So whoever attacked him couldn't have been doing his bidding, couldn't have been under his orders, but it could still have been someone from his network, because these are all serial killers. All of them, all narcissistic, egocentric serial killers. So if their boss is taken out and is known to cooperate with the FBI against other serial killers, wouldn't they want him out? Like, maybe there's like one of the minions, one of the network minions was like, oh, I see you, daddy, boss, serial killer daddy. I see you cooperating with the FBI. I'm gonna take you out. And who else would know about the fact that Lee Duval was Elias Voit and, have the skills to pull this off? Because the serial killers in his network can be very proficient in very special sets of skills. So my running theory for now is that the person who came after him was one of his previous minions that didn't like the fact that he was cooperating with the FBI, or just took advantage of the fact that he was behind bars to, take over the network. Because, and I will get to it, the Unsub number 1 says it was maybe potentially a plan. So if it was a plan, someone has to be planning it. Someone has to be the mastermind behind it. Someone has to be behind it. So this is my running theory. The person who attacked Voit was one of his minions gone rogue, wanting to take all the power for himself and wanting to take over Voit's network. Regardless, it did not kill him, and by the end of this episode, this diva wakes up literally by choking a nurse. Like, the goddamn like the goddamn living dead. Like he's been buried in a coma, and then he wakes up and it's like, I got you. Literally like this. This is how he woke up. Insane. Insane, but fun. I enjoy that. That was the hook that hooked me. It was Voight's claw. And if you are thinking that this is all there is to Voit in this episode, you would be very wrong. There's a lot of all the shenanigans lead back to Voit. Like, Voit is literally Rome right now. Voit is Rome. And all the shenanigans lead back to Rome. But the worst shenanigan of them all, the one that leaves me afraid for what they might do in this season, the one shenanigan that I am terrified of, is the shenanigan involving goddamn Garcia. In every season, Garcia has to be one of the people that gives me the most hope and one of the people that gives me the most cringe. In every season. In this season, it's Garcia's empathy. Baby girl, what are you doing? Garcia is currently empathizing with Voit because Voit is basically Sleeping Beauty, okay? It's easy to empathize with someone who is immobile, who can't move, or, stab you in the neck, Garcia. Because if you remember from last season, Garcia gave Voit a death glare. A death stare, like she had laser in her eyes, and she looked at Voit, and Voit whimpered a little bit. Okay, he faltered a little bit to Garcia's death glare, and this death glare really just meant that Garcia was telling Voit, stop playing around because I'm a bad bitch hacker and I will ruin your life. And he felt it. He felt it, and he was like, okay, Goddess, Garcia, I hear you. And apparently, when Garcia was giving him this death glare, she saw, what did she see in Voit? I want you to guess what Garcia saw in Voit. I want you to take a guess what Garcia saw in Voit's eyes when she glared at him. That potentially he has a soul. Garcia, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? If these people, so far, I'm positive on this season. I'm positive on this episode, and I will, explain further in my final appraisals of the episode. But if they're going to do a redemption arc on Voit, I'm gonna be so pissed. And I mean, we have the trailer scenes. We know they're going to be interrogating him. We know he's going to be sent to another prison because he probably killed these guys, with a shank made from a fan. So we know that eventually, when he doesn't cooperate with the investigation about his little minions, he will be sent to a maximum security prison, or at least medium security, I guess, whatever, because he's in a red jumpsuit. And we also see him eventually in normal clothes, so I hope there'll be an escape. Regardless, we know he's not going to cooperate, we know he's going to prison, and we know potentially there's an escape. Garcia, why are you empathizing with him? They better not do do y'all remember Adam? Do you remember Adam with the dissociative personality disorder? Because you see in this episode, they make a comment of, Voit's brain looks like the brain of a jock who's been playing football with his head for 30 years. Not like a healthy 40-year-old. What could have potentially happened to him? If they're going to introduce a dissociative personality disorder thing, or a memory loss thing with Voit, I'm going to be, not happy. Not happy. There's so many more other avenues to explore with Voit, he has been keeping his persona, his I'm a family man, I did nothing wrong persona this whole time before the attack in the prison. And to me, it feels like the logical path to go with Voit is exploring what happens when this goddamn con man persona breaks. When he finally admits that his family is a cover, that his family isn't the people he loves the most in the world, that his family aren't the people that he's doing all this for, that he is a psychopathic serial killer. I kind of need them to explore that. I need them to break him to a point where his facade comes off, where his mask comes off. And if they introduce a dissociative personality disorder or a memory loss disease, illness somehow, I don't think we're going to get there. I don't think we're going to get the mask off. I think we're going to get a completely different mask. And I'm not here for it. So let's see what they do. Let's see. But I see you. With that said, this was an amazing episode to me, okay? I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was hooked. You can leave me in the comments what you thought of it. If you completely disagree with me, let me know why. I'm always down to discussing these things, but I liked it, and I am hopeful for this season. And what else happens, guys? Tyler, because I was saying this, oh my god, my voice went like a grunt. Because I was saying this, I was saying, How is Tyler a trainee in the BAU? How is this man with no experience going to be starting at the BAU? What is happening right now? And, well, Criminal Minds was ahead of me because in this episode they explained that he was a trainee, that he wouldn't be doing like the majority of his service in the BAU, that he would have to go to a field office, spend 5 years to be a SSA, supervisory special agent, and then 10 more years before he could go to the BAU, so I'm satisfied with that. And what does this mean really? It means that Tyler, bane of my existence, Green, is leaving the show. I mean, I don't know if he's leaving the show. He's potentially leaving the BAU. And what else, guys? What else? This is what I was saying in the intro. I've been so against all the silly romance. I'm still against a lot of it. But Garcia and Tyler were so cute. Did y'all see that? They were so cute. I was saying this last season, and I'm gonna say this again. If they manage to create the chemistry or to replicate the chemistry of these two characters, if they manage to explore this, and by the end of the season we have a new relationship in Garcia and Luke, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be seething. Not seething. How do you say it? When there's like foaming at the mouth with happiness. Foaming at the mouth with happiness. Plus, I think Rebecca will die this season, so we need some romance. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I just said that I need romance in Criminal Minds. Guys, I potentially have gone insane. Maybe this is why I'm enjoying this season. Let's see. And now for Unsub number 1. And why do I need to call him Unsub number 1? Well, because apparently, potentially, maybe, all the Unsubs in this season are connected to Voit, are connected to his network of serial killers. So potentially, maybe, perhaps, all the Unsubs will be, connected back to Rome. So in this episode, we get Unsub number 1. This Unsub was a kid with asthma whose father was how do you say it, safeguard? Those men that stand in white, tiny clothes in swimming pools and pretend to whistle when you go in the water and you shouldn't. Him. And his father, abused him and forced him to take the swimming test over and over and over again, even though because of his asthma he couldn't do it. So the Unsub went psycho and is in his adulthood, and right now in the show, he is forcing some men and sometimes some families to, float in the pool until they no longer have energy and drown. Fun stuff. And this guy is caught, and in the end he says, maybe the plan was always for this to happen. And then right after he offs himself. So they associate this with Voit because that's Voit's thing, all of his minions that have his little kill kit in the end off themselves. They don't find a kill kit. But maybe that's because it's not Voit, it's another minion in his network, pulling the strings. We'll see. But what really surprised me about this Unsub, and I have to compliment the show on this, was the focus they used to tell the story, because we didn't see any images of him being abused as a child. We didn't see anything kind of empathizing with the Unsub. We didn't see anything trying to explain why he does what he does. All we got was that little backstory that he had asthma and his father forced him to take the test and whatever. And that was it. That's how they told the story of this Unsub. And what they focused on was the families. What they focused on was the absolutely horrifying method that he used to capture these people with a fentanyl. He captured these people by drugging them to a point where they couldn't react, where they were basically Rue in that couch in episode 2 or 3 of the first season. And the whole story, well, we see some of the victims, but then by the end, we follow the final victims. It's a family of 3 people, a father, a mother, and a daughter. And the father immediately says, no, we're not going in the pool. We're not going to comply with your lunacy. And he shoots the father immediately. So then the daughter and the mother go in the pool. And the way they told this story was so well done, because from the beginning, you see the mother trying to protect the daughter. And she's like, okay, you gotta take off all of your clothes because that's dead weight. You're gonna float in the pool so you don't tire yourself so fast. And then like everything they're doing is working. It's taking a long time for them to tire and to, drown. So the Unsub starts resorting to other methods, like closing the goddamn cover of the goddamn pool. And even then they find a way to stay afloat until he starts shooting them. But then the BAU gets there, they rescue them, and in the end both of them survive. But the way that they focus the story on the survival of the victims and the stories of the victims and the courage of the victims. Thank you, Criminal Minds. I was a little afraid of this because last season we got a lot of focus on the criminals, even though the criminals were also the victims. And I really appreciate, and this is something that we've been seeing a kind of shift on in terms of true crime, where these shows that are coming out this year are focusing a lot more on the victims rather than the criminals. And I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate Criminal Minds that are doing that as well, because I'm standing with Bill Farah right now. Like the criminals, the Unsubs are kind of all the same. Just little psychos. Some of them, this is what I said in my breakdown of season 17. Criminal Minds does two types of Unsubs very well. The ones that are absolutely insane and will harm the team and we will love to hate them till the end. And the ones that we stand behind, the ones that we understand what happened to them and we feel bad for them, like the doll girl or the call girl or Adam. So I appreciate that in a season where you are bringing back a previous Unsub that we already know, you are showing us a lot more of the victims than of the Unsubs. I appreciate it very much. I think this is one of the aspects that gives me the most hope for this season. If they are going to focus on the victims this much, I'm going to enjoy it a lot. So overall, this is a very positive appraisal from me. Like, I remember last season watching it and immediately having a little bit of red flags in certain aspects, like in the way that they over-explained everything, in the way that the set seemed kind of bare. But this time I'm okay. They still over-explain a lot of things, but they're kind of finding intelligent ways to do it. Like in this episode, they kind of want the audience to know what's happening with Rossi and all that kind of stuff. So whenever they mention these very vague terms, they ask Tyler, they're like, okay, trainee, what is OPR? And then we get to know as well. So I appreciate that very much. I hope this is what I was saying in my last review of this show in season 17, in my episode by episode review, which you can watch here. I always do this and I never remember to put the videos there. Let's see if I do it this time. When I was reviewing episode by episode, I was saying, like, stop treating us like we're idiots, Criminal Minds. Like, this is the audience you've had for like 20 years, and it's the audience you're going to have until the end. Like, we understand what you are saying. Stop over-explaining everything to us. And I think they have done a better job with that this time. So I'm really excited for this season. I'm just hopeful. Like, I'm very hopeful. So let's see how it turns out. Hopefully Voit will escape. And yeah, I'll see you. Well, leave me your theories in the comments. As usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, but comment. I mean, if you've been here for a while, you know that I love to interact with comments. And again, if you want to support my work on the channel and with this Criminal Minds series, you can subscribe, you can join my YouTube membership and join my Patreon, and I will see you here, not even next week, probably tomorrow. Bye guys.